Hello everyone, Vinay Yadav here and coming with a new strategy to score 52 marks in taxation. Yes, you heard it right. The least marks from both groups of the CA intermediate I scored in 52. But you know what? I was expecting dot 40 at least for me, and I will not complain about that to the ICI. Even if I get the dot 40, because tax was something which is a horrible subject for me in the whole CA intermediate journey, because it depressed me in the beginning only. So let's get into like what was the strategy of me scoring 52 marks. Let's get started. So as I earlier mentioned that tax is a very horrible subject for me, was a horrible subject for me, and I would say I will improvise that in final, but in inter it was very horrible. It was just like a law which was in foundation. So I was very depressed in the beginning because I was not having any classes for the same. My friends were having classes and they were like, yeah, yes, it is very tough, you need to have a classes, otherwise you might fail. So I was like, let's give a try, no. So it depressed me because I was not able to calculate the HRA in the first day. Like I was like, I need to remember this much of things. So I was a little frightened over there, and for a few days I got depressed, but I thought that I can do it. People are able to do it, people are able to score 98 marks, then I cannot score 40 even. So with that thing I proceeded ahead, and then I completed my classes from the YouTube channel. Like I searched for the things, the salary heads and all those basic things, and I completed my syllabus over there for direct tax. And after completing, what I ensured is that whenever I used to complete one of the chapter, I used to solve all the back questions of ICI study material of that particular chapter. And after completing the syllabus, I went for the uh, indirect tax, like GST. GST was a kind of a life savior. it I assumed it as a savior for my taxation paper, but it ditched me at last. I will explain that in further. So I completed my GST in the same manner as I used to completed my DT. So after completing GST, I was like little confident, but in GST also I was like, because tax as a whole subject is not a cup of a tea for everyone. Like, because it is very vast, you need to remember all the provisions from DT and from IDT as well. The section names and I would say for section names are not mandatory, but sections and provision, the way of calculation I would say, and the deduction at least you need to remember that ATC and all those. So, and it was kind of a thing like which you need to remember, because people who are having a good remembering power, or I would say good memory, they can do well, and also who have a good conceptual clarity, because tax question comes to be very practical in nature. And from the previous attempts I have seen that from December 2020, yes, December 2021 I would say, the paper was very tough. So I was very frightened of that taxation paper from the beginning itself, but somehow I ended up scoring 52 marks, and very um, uh, thankful to the god and for their grace. So after completing my DT and IDT syllabus, I went for the RTP MTP, and I've solved all the relevant questions, because there are amendments. So you might get confused over that this question is solved in that way, because there are amendments, so you need to ensure that. And after solving all the questions from the RTP MTP, I went for the test series, and I have decided that I have to give a maximum test series for this particular subject at least, because it is a subject which can be again the reason after cost. This can be a strong reason to fail in the group 1. So I thought that I need to give a test, and I need to analyze myself that where I'm lacking. So I gave my test, and in first unit test I scored average marks. Then again in the next I scored average marks, and in last two full syllabus test series I failed. So my confidence was very down at that point of time, but I thought that I would like to give a try to it, and I would not take this paper as my weakness. I will just revise. So I, in short, what is that I will revise this subject as many as time possible. So the most revision which I did for the particular subject in the group 1 was tax, but then too I ended up scoring very least marks among the 8 subjects. So that is the you can say the power of tax, that you need to have a proper conceptual clarity and all those stuff, otherwise it will bring your marks down, or it may become a reason for failure in group 1 at least. So in that way I did. Again, in 1.5 days, what was my strategy is that I studied from the module itself, and I never made notes for any of the subject, I would say, and this applies to the tax as well. So I didn't made any notes, but I went through from all the concepts like provisions which are in the module, and from DT and IDT. Then after completing those, I gave my exam, and exam was very horrible again, just like the subject. So the questions were like from the amendment, very less from the amendment, I would say. I was expecting more on that. And in direct tax, I would say there was a one question of Aadhaar linking or something. I was totally blank on that question, and the 14 marks question was a little different came, like it was from the receipt on payments, like there was a balance, so I was again got confused over there. But I thought that I need to give my 100% at least. I will get dot 40 at least, then too I'll be happy in this subject, because from the beginning only it was horrible for me. And the topic which in which I was weak, like the 115 back, which was not covered by me, because it requires you to remember all those things, like which deduction not to be given to the salaried person and all those stuffs. So that question came, like salary question was there, and in that they asked that if we'll apply 115 back, then what will happen. So that was the problem for me there. And one amendment question, so I was like, I need to give my best. In TDS was there, you need to remember all the TDS section, and the percentage in that, the what is 44AB, and what is not applicable to the individual and HUF, so all those stuff, because tax in itself is a very vast subject, so you need to give time to it, and it requires a lot of energy. So but I gave my best, and as I earlier told you that GST ditched us, because GST, I assume that GST to be savior for me for this particular subject, to let me pass this subject. But in GST we got the question from the ITC, which was totally different, like how we have to calculate the ITC, I was not getting at that time, I was totally blank over there. So I solved that ITC question at last, and I went from the last question of GST, question number 8, I guess. So I completed that theory question. In that also I ended up making mistake. It was 1 lakh, 1 lakh or more. I written only more than 1 lakh. So in that I ended up doing that mistake. And the theory question from that, in what situation credit note is to be issued, that I did. And other question were from e-way bill, and some were from whether the mandatory registration needs to be taken or not. So those questions were there, and ITC again GST ditched us. So but then too I thought that I will give my best to write the examination, and whatever will happen, I will accept that. With that note, I completed my paper, and not me was there in the examination center who was very, you know, having a bad day on that day, but everyone's face was down on that day, and people were talking like that this may become the reason for their failure in group 1, because tax paper usually comes very tough, like it comes very practical nature. Who have a proper conceptual clarity, who have a practiced, or who have a deep conceptual clarity, who have dive into it, so he can score very well. But if you have done from above only, like from very easily from the above, then you might end up scoring less, or may fail in that particular subject. So this was all about paper 4, taxation, the horrible subject of the group 1 for me at least. And I would like to say at last that be a game changer with what you have, in what situation you are, and have a belief in yourself, and don't forget that one thing which is very much required in yourself is that confidence. You need to have a confidence to write the examination, because you don't know some of the concepts. It's okay, you cannot cover every concept in CA Inter, but you need to have a confidence to write the examination. So just give you 100% with that, and you'll definitely get what you want. Not immediately, I would say, I would assure you, but definitely will get it. Just be on the track, and keep pushing the things, and keep pushing your life, and give your effort. With that note, I would like to sign off. Thank you so much. Also, if you guys have any query, then you can comment down below in the comment section any query, and also you can connect with me on social platforms, of which link is pinned in the comment section. No, not comment section, in about section. You can reach out over there and I can help you. I would feel ecstatic to help you, because adding value in someone's life makes me feel ecstatic.